Hey guys, it's me, Freddy Pop Collector. As I'm sure we all know, Five Nights at Freddy's games aren't really that easy. Sure, FNAF games aren't the most complicated or complex games out there, but they are pretty challenging, especially the later nights. Today we're going to be going over what I believe are the top 10 hardest Five Nights at Freddy's challenges. Note, this will only be Scott Cawthon official FNAF games, so no fan games like Five Nights at Candy's or Joy of Creation, none of that stuff. Also, this is personally how I would order the Five Nights at Freddy's challenges. If you think differently, that's fine. Tell me what you would change in the comments below or what you would add even. But with all of that out of the way, let's get into what I believe are the top 10 hardest Five Nights at Freddy's challenges. Coming in at number 10 is Saturday Night in FNAF 6. Now, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, or FNAF 6 as many people like to call it, was a very interesting game, a lot more complex and interesting than Scott's previous games because of the multiple endings you could choose. In order to get the true canon ending to FNAF 6, you have to salvage all of the animatronics throughout the week and finish them all off on Saturday night, which is the final night of the game, so they can all burn. This may sound pretty simple at first, but this was by far one of the hardest non-custom night challenges in FNAF. Because you have so little control of where the animatronics go and keeping track of your heat, ordering supplies, it just gets very complicated and can go wrong really fast. This challenge took me hundreds and hundreds of attempts to beat, and when I finally did, I was so relieved. That took me about a week of grinding just to beat it, and that just goes to show you how difficult this challenge actually is. Overall, I think we can all agree that this night more than deserves its place on the top 10. Coming in at number 9 is Aggressive Nightmare Mode from FNAF 3. FNAF 3 was the first game in the entire series to not feature a 2020 mode. There isn't a 20 mode of any kind in this game because obviously there's not even enough characters to do that, only Springtrap, so Scott's solution to this would be to make a more difficult version of Nightmare Mode, FNAF 3's Night 6, and it was definitely difficult. It took me about 4 hours of pure grinding to beat it, but I eventually did. This night is so difficult not only because it's very challenging, but also because of the luck involved. You have to get a very lucky run in order to beat it, and personally I still believe it's one of the hardest FNAF challenges out there. So coming in at number 9 is Aggressive Nightmare Mode in FNAF 3. Let's move on to number 8. Coming right off of FNAF 3's hardest mode is FNAF 4's, the 2020 mode in FNAF 4, also known as Night 8 in the game. I'd say on the difficult side of things, this one's very similar to FNAF 3's Aggressive Nightmare Mode. FNAF 4 in general is very similar to FNAF 1. You look to the left, look to the right, look in the closet, look on the bed, rinse, repeat, over and over again. Once you get into the rhythm of looking in the doors, looking in the closet, and looking behind you, it's not really that hard, you just have to get that one lucky run. The reason why I rank this one higher than Aggressive Nightmare Mode is because of the switch about 4 AM, where Nightmare replaces all the other animatronics. This one really throws off the rhythm and he's very unpredictable. So that's why coming in at number 8 is FNAF 4's 2020 mode, or Night 8, whatever you want to call it. Let's move on to number 7. Coming in at number 7 is unlocking all the certificates and achievements in Five Nights at Freddy's Pizzeria Simulator, basically 100%ing the game. This is extremely hard to do because in order to do this, you have to play the game in a very specific order. I rank this higher than FNAF 3 and FNAF 4's hardest modes, mostly because you have to beat the game multiple times to do this, you have to have enough money, and overall I think takes a lot more time. I feel like this one's pretty self-explanatory, so coming in at number 7 is 100% beating FNAF 6 with all the certificates and awards. Let's move on to number 6. Coming in at number 6 is probably one of the most difficult and time-consuming challenges on this list, that being 100% completing FNAF World. Like FNAF 6, FNAF World has multiple different endings. For each ending, you get a certain trophy, similar to FNAF 6's certificates. The main reason I decided to rank this one as the more difficult one is because 1, it's a lot more time-consuming, and 2, to me personally, I found it a lot more difficult. Now, of course I haven't beaten this game, I've only gotten one ending, but a couple of the endings require you to play the game multiple times, but some of them are pretty easy, like the Old Man Consequences one, but this one just I feel like would take a long time, and that's ultimately why I decided to rank it higher. So coming in at number 6 is 100% beating FNAF World. Let's move on to the top 5. About here is where we get to the most difficult Five Nights at Freddy's challenges throughout all the games. Kicking off this more difficult half of the list is the Sister Location Custom Night 1020 mode, also known as Golden Freddy. Now, I've attempted this a couple times, and I usually make it to about 2 or 3 in the morning and I run out of power. In fact, this challenge was so difficult that Doggo had to put a second keyboard on the floor so he could type LOL with his toes. I'm not kidding. Also, this next clip I'm about to show you I think sums it up pretty nicely.
Here we go.
Now these next 4, in my opinion, are the hardest of the hard and the most challenging of the challenging. Coming in at number 4 is the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 2020 mode. Scott Cawthon himself, you know, the creator of the game, didn't even think this mode was possible. Keeping track of Foxy at all times, also Bonnie and Chica, Freddy being on the move as well, and managing your power is very, very, very difficult. You have to have a perfect run in order to do this, and you can't make any mistakes at all, and that's why personally I put it at the number 4 spot. Coming in at number 3 is actually the last non-custom night challenge. This challenge is from FNAF AR, and that's to become number 1 on the Five Nights at Freddy's AR streak leaderboard. For those of you who don't know, every time you beat an animatronic, it adds to your streak. Personally, my highest streak is 15, but if you go on the leaderboard, the highest streaks are... This wouldn't be so bad if the game let you mess up just a few times, but if you even lose once, no matter what the animatronic is, your streak resets to 0 and you have to start all over again. But don't worry, it gets harder. As your streak gets higher, harder animatronics obviously come, like Springtrap, Toy Chica, and Baby, as well as Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy. The easier ones get a lot more difficult as well, so good luck if you ever try to do this. Coming in as runner-up, in my opinion, for the hardest Five Nights at Freddy's challenge is Golden Freddy mode in FNAF 2, or otherwise known as 1020 mode. Out of the first 4 games, this one easily has the hardest 20 mode in my opinion. You can't even slip up once, you have to get insanely lucky, and on top of that, you can't slip up even one time. If you accidentally put the mask on too late, bam, you're dead. If you accidentally flip the camera up and down twice, bam, you're dead because someone's probably in the vents. You can't slip up at all. This 20 mode also has the most characters of the ones we've mentioned so far, so that obviously makes it a lot harder. Keeping track of the wizards, the toys, and flashing the light on Foxy and winding up the music box is a lot to deal with. But even though this one's hard, it pales in comparison to number 1, and I think we all know what that is, so let's just go ahead and get the obvious out of the way. If you thought the FNAF 2 challenge was hard, take all of those characters, all of that game's difficulty, times it by 5, and you get what's called an Ultimate Custom Night. Ultimate Custom Night, or UCN as most fans call it, has this thing called 50-20 mode, a mode so difficult that even Markiplier had no interest in beating it. When the game first launched, TJOC was doing live streams every day until we beat it, and by looking at these hours, I think you get a pretty good picture on how long this would take. So taking away the crown for number 1 hardest Five Nights at Freddy's challenge is 50-20 mode on Ultimate Custom Night, an absolute surprise to absolutely nobody. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Tell me in the comments which challenges from FNAF you would add or switch around on this list. As I said earlier, this is just how I would rank them in terms of difficulty, so tell me what you guys think in the comments below. But with all of that said, that's all I have for now. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like and subscribe if you're new. Thank you for 23,000 subscribers as well, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.